So we're here at Smash Summit, the very first Smash Beyond the Summit event, and I'm here with Shroomed. I grabbed this man right after his win in teams. Him and S2J. Who did you guys beat?
We beat Dr. PPMD and Plup in teams. I was surprised to see how well they were working as a team since PP's not really known for teams, but they were pretty good.
Yeah. Which is crazy because PP came up through teams. You know, I first heard about PP through him teaming with Lazar, and then he kind of dropped off. Do you wave the flag for teams the way PP and SFAT do?
Yeah, in NorCal, we kind of really love our teams. For most of us, it's the more fun way to play the game. When I first got into Melee, we had 2 setups and 10 people that wanted to train, so we actually only played teams. So I learned teams first and then singles afterwards. So teams is still my favorite way to play.
Yeah, of course it's your favorite way to play. It's my favorite way to play too. And at Teams Fests, I will scream and rant and stomp my feet and beat my chest until I get teams. But in events, 1 and 2 day events, the reason why I've spoken out against them is because I'm not sure we have the resources. In your mind, is there anything that we can sacrifice to have teams have more weight? And a follow-up question, in your mind, should teams in an ideal world carry the same weight as singles or just more weight than it does now?
For me personally, I think that teams should carry the same weight as singles, but I understand that in order to do that, we would, of course, have to take away some of the focus on singles. And I know for the majority of people out there, they prefer singles. Not everyone wants to play teams. So, I mean, I'll always play teams as long as it's there, no matter how big or small it is.
Perhaps, for example, we could sacrifice other games. We could have single game tournaments, just Melee, for example, and then have teams have as much money and time devoted to it as singles. Would you consent to that?
I mean, I don't want to step on other games' toes, but because I love teams so much, I would rather have a Melee-only tournament with more emphasis and focus on teams being, a main event. So not a side event, but just a co-event with singles.
All right, Sherm, listen, so I know you've got a lot to do right now. Lunch just came. This man sacrificed lunch to talk to us, and he's got to practice. I got a long list of questions. I'm going to pick a few, and we'll get through as many as we can. Okay. But I want to start with the more fun ones and the ones specific to you. So talk to me a little bit about Winter Fox. I want to know a little bit about Winter Fox, what it was like getting that sponsorship with Winter Fox, and then, since I'm going to hand the mic over to you, was there any conflict with your famous/infamous commentary at Get Smashed at the Foundry with the whole non-esports language thing? Is Winter Fox looked at their way, or are they totally cool with it? Has it ever come up?
Well, Winter Fox as a team, the management, they're very understanding. I guess they just trust me to make good decisions and not, do things that would look bad on myself or them. So there wasn't really much controversy over the Get Smashed at the Foundry commentary. The streamer, Spencer, or Showdown, they know that stream, the tournament itself is at a bar, so they know the stream isn't going to be very, proper and official. So I kept that in mind. So I wouldn't go and do that on a stream here, Yeah. That was, the Foundry for me is kind of a bar with Melee more than, Melee at a bar.
Yeah. So you can drop a couple of F-bombs every Tuesday as long as you're not, caught using performance-enhancing drugs. I mean, that makes sense. You got to use your head for that kind of stuff, for sure. So people, forgivably so, are comparing you to Plop. Before I ask my question, did you see that Reddit post recently comparing your stats to Plop in 2015? You
Yes,
did.
I did.
Okay, you did. Very interesting stuff. Is there a comparison? Okay, let me rephrase the question. Let me start over and we'll get to Plop. First, let me ask, is there a Sheik that you think your Sheik is comparable to? And alternatively, is there a Sheik to which you aspire?
I used to aspire to be, as good as King's Sheik back in the day when I first picked up Sheik. But nowadays, I kind of just want to, make my own name with Sheik because everyone knows me for Dr. Mario. So I really want to, get my name out there as a top Sheik player. as far as comparing myself to, Plup or Mutaking, I think they are way stronger than me in the space animal matchup, which is becoming more and more important. So I think that's why people are thinking, oh, they might be better than me because I'm strong against floaties. That's why I win Sheik Dittos most of the time. Except Mutaking's beaten me the last couple times, but I think I perform way better against floaties, and they perform way better against spaceys. Plup specifically, his spacey punish game is really good, and so I don't aspire to be, Plup Sheik, but I aspire to be as good as him in certain matchups like Fox and Falco.
Okay, that was a fantastic answer and a diplomatic one. Winter Fox will be proud, right? But one could look at those numbers between you and Plup and say that you have had a more impressive 2015. You can make the argument either way, okay? But an argument could be made for you over Plup, and yet it's Plup on the top 10 list, and it's Plup that got the invite to Smash Summit, right? Whereas you had to kick and stream and struggle and get a little bit lucky to be sitting here with me today. So, I mean, that's got to sting a bit. I mean, do you feel a little sour about that? And do you think it's incorrect?
When I saw the list of invited players, I was pretty, confused as to why I wasn't invited in the first place because I had just come off a good performance at Big House 5. I got 5th. I had beat Plup and Axe and Abate and a bunch of other people, but I mean, I've just assumed that they built that list before Big House, so they didn't, I wasn't on the radar very much because I had a pretty poor showing at Evo. So I feel people kind of wrote me off after that performance just because it was one bad tournament, and people just take one tournament, they give it too much value. So I'm hoping to show everyone that, I definitely deserve to be invited here today.
True that. Yeah, that's that Evo bias is kind of crazy. So I'm a fan and I'm a streamer. I'm on the East Coast. I watch you guys at home. It's very easy for me, and I'm sure people like me, to group you, Pew Pew You, and SFAT. And the three of you have been switching as far as your rankings in NorCal. You roll together. You got a number of things in common, but you also must have a lot of things that separate you. But it's not entirely clear to us at home. So I want to ask you a couple of questions to help us at home differentiate the three of you. Of the three of you, who takes their losses best?
Who takes their losses the best? I would have to say, personally, I think I take my losses the best. I kind of just, ever since I started playing, I've always, whenever I lose a set, I try not to get frustrated unless, I was frustrated with my own play. So that's the only time I take a loss hard is when I feel like I wasn't performing. Whether I got outplayed or not is not, the main factor in me getting upset. It's just whether I performed or not. So I think that I take my losses the best out of the three of us. I would say Zach takes his losses pretty well, except for against certain people. Westballs in particular. And Leffen as of late, I think. But he beat Leffen the last time they played. So, and then I think Kevin and Leffen. Kevin takes his losses pretty hard. I think he just expects a lot out of himself, but I think he's also making vast improvements on just playing his game and being relaxed and not getting overly tense or upset or anything over losses.
Cool. And I'm going to play the game with the other two as well and compare your answers. Okay, so all right, B, if only one of you is still competitive in 5 years, which one of you will it be?
I actually don't think any of us, out of the three of us, we won't let any of us quit. Unless, barring some really important life circumstances, but we are competitors, but we're also really good friends outside of the game. So I'm sure if one of us wanted to quit for, life reasons, then we would, discuss it and talk each other through it. But if one of us wanted to quit just because we were getting frustrated that we weren't improving enough or something like that, I definitely think the other two would, be on that and be ready to talk through it and convince them that, you can still make it. It's about the journey, not the destination.
Yeah. All right, Taylor Swift. That's great. Um, so again, that's a fantastic answer. And normally I wouldn't. I was about to tell you no, you can't give that cop out. But that was a really good answer. We wouldn't let the others. However, what you're doing is pulling you guys as a unit and not separating, which is the game. But that's okay. All right. C. Yeah, 1 unit. I thought. Yeah. C. Who is most likely to switch mains in the next 2 years?
I don't think any of us will switch mains, but pick up other characters. So I know PPU's been working on his Fox, and I'm sure he's gonna bust that out eventually. I don't know if SFAT will ever play another character seriously. He used to play Sheik in tournament and stuff, but I don't think any of us will switch mains. I'm working on my Marth, and I might bust that out. And sadly for all the people at home, the more I play Doc and then switch to Marth and Sheik, the more I feel like I just have more fun and I'm better. Not only am I better off, I also have more fun playing Marth and Sheik. So I don't know how I feel about playing Doc again. I know I'll never main him again, but we'll see. I'll just have to do what's best for my improvement.
I asked fans for questions to ask the pros, and I had more than a couple people who wanted me to ask you about the doc, and I said, no, come on, let the poor guy go. Let him advance to high tiers. Oh, and by the way, I'm calling that an answer of Pew Pew You, even though you weren't so specific. That's what I put it down as. Question D. Who will be the first to get married?
To get married. Well, okay. I'm the oldest, so I guess, technically it's supposed to be me, but I have, I don't necessarily believe in marriage as it is today, so I don't know if I would ever get married. I might just have, a partner, a significant other until the day we die without, ever having the whole wedding thing. But I say that, but, things change. Pew Pew is in a happy relationship right now, so he would be the most likely if you just talked about it right now. I don't know where SFAT's head is about getting married and stuff either. I don't know. Actually, I don't even know if Pew we haven't talked about marriage, so
Okay, cool.
this is a weird question, man. I'm here at a Melee tournament and talk about getting married, thinking all deep about my life, how many kids I want and all that. But yeah, on paper, I mean, I don't know. That's a hard question. I have no idea.
You think about it and come back to me. I don't know. I thought maybe at the Foundry you guys talk about it. I'm like, oh man, dude. No, it's interesting. Could you please tell us about your fitness regimen? I would love to hear about how you take care of your body. And then, so we don't have to pass the mic back and forth. And then your hands too. I want to hear about your fitness regimen and then how you apply it to your hands, if at all.
So for fitness, I'm not doing as much as I would like to do right now just because I'm settling into moving. I just moved to San Francisco like a little over a month ago. So I'm still like settling in and all that. But what I do right now is I do just at home body weight workouts. And I have some 20-pound dumbbells that I do some work with. But right now my regimen is just 3 or 4 sets of 10 of each of these exercises. It's pull-ups, dips. I have a dip bar as well as a pull-up bar. Some sit-ups, but with the 20-pound dumbbell, and also push-ups, planks, and squats. But I'm gonna start.
So just stuff.
Some basic exercises pretty much. And sometimes I'll work in some bicep curls or some overhead presses and things like that. But I definitely try to work out at least 3 times a week, no matter what, just because I think our bodies are just the cars for our soul. So, you got to take care of your car. You only get one. So I try to eat as clean as possible and work out as often as I can. And as far as my hands go, I don't know if it's because I played Doc for all those years, but I've never had any like severe hand problems. It might also have to do with working out consistently. So like my hands get stretched and, just worked out like that. But yeah, I don't have a hand training regimen at all yet. But as I keep playing, and I hear more things about people getting injured, it makes me want to start thinking about, you know, working one in. I stretch them as often as I can. Just when I'm not doing anything, watching Netflix, just like stretch my hands and arms and things like that.
Cool. All right, great. So listen, we've come to the end. We're going to do what I'm calling a speed run. It's 8 questions, and you've got to answer them boom, quick. Ready? Okay? So just whatever comes to your mind on answer. Your mic. Okay. That's correct. Great. Speed run.
I'll let you hold the mic the whole time. And just hold it in front of me. Yeah. Do that.
Yeah. Totally. Yeah. Okay. He's good. Okay. Speed run with Shroomed. Appies or Zerts?
Don't know what either of those are.
Perfect. Mountains or ocean?
Ocean.
GG's or pop-off?
A healthy mix of both.
Cheat. Frozen or Tangled?
Frozen or Tangled? What?
Come on, man. Don't pretend.
No.
You have to show off for your
What is
fans.
Frozen or Tangled?
Oh, for the love of Pete. What year was Melee released?
2000. I was late. I started in 08. 2002.
2001. Who was your first main?
Mario.
Who is the best smasher of all time?
Isaiah.
Good answer. Who will win the Smash Summit?
Me.
Perfect. Shroomed, your body is the car for the soul. Did I get that right?
Yes.
Your body is the car for your soul. Thanks a lot, Shroom. Thanks, guys. Cheers.